This is completely insane. A New York Jets insider has revealed that a top wide receiver is about to hit the open market, and we got to break all of this down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Football 365. If you're a New York Jet fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 4.1% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. But getting into the news for today, coming from Diana Russini of The Athletic and Jets insider Connor Hughes on Twitter. Diana Russini says, breaking, 15 months after signing a 4-year, $120 million extension, Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers appear to be heading towards a divorce, sources tell me and Mike Silver. He had a ton of guaranteed money, but Brandon Aiyuk, due to missing team meetings and missing other things that he was contractually obligated to go to, he is now getting his guarantees for the year 2026 voided by the San Francisco 49ers. New York Jets insider Connor Hughes says, wow, this is big. Aiyuk, if cut, would be the top pass catcher available, and he's absolutely right. He says this. Brandon Aiyuk was on the he's still on the San Francisco 49ers for now, had a breakout season 2 years ago, or last year, breakout season, then signed, or no, yeah, I was right. 2 years ago, had a breakout season in 2023, held out before the 2024 season and signed a massive contract extension. Then in that 2024 season, because he was too busy holding out instead of working out and getting ready and properly prepared for the NFL season, he tore his ACL, his MCL, which was extremely problematic because when you're in the NFL, these guys are super athletic. You're going to need those things. You need working knees if you're going to be a high-level football player. So Aiyuk was taken in the first round by the San Francisco 49ers a little while ago out of the University of Arizona State, but unfortunately, after breaking out, had these massive injuries, and now the two sides look to be headed towards a divorce. Coming from The Athletic, Aiyuk, who suffered a season-ending knee injury last October, was placed on the physically unable to perform list in July and has yet to be activated. It's now likely that the 27-year-old has played his final game with the franchise, according to numerous sources briefed on the matter, who spoke on the condition of anonymity. We don't know who the people were. We're keeping them a secret. To discuss a sensitive situation, some in the organization are holding out hope that the relationship can be salvaged enough for him to return this season. However, multiple sources believe that a reconciliation is unlikely. Anonymity? Yeesh. Maybe don't put that word in the next video. That's a tough one. But Brandon Aiyuk was a first-team All-Pro wide receiver. Brandon Aiyuk was fantastic for the San Francisco 49ers. Keyword was. Classically, the New York Jets pick up players who were amazing on their other teams, and they come to the New York Jets, and then they just don't perform at all. One thing before we actually get into that, want to pull up the depth chart. The argument for Brandon Aiyuk is we have nothing behind Garrett Wilson except for question marks. Right now, Adonai Mitchell separated pretty well against the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football, but unfortunately dropped most of his targets. John Mechie is another question mark, a pretty good route runner, but we don't know what these guys are going to be after Garrett Wilson at the wide receiver position. So we clearly desperately need another wide receiver. Now, Brandon Aiyuk, if he would be able to return to what he used to be as a first-team All-Pro caliber level wide receiver, that would be fantastic, and that would immediately give us one of the best wide receiver duos in the entire NFL. The problem is, like I was explaining earlier, it is a classic Jets move to pick up a guy who's done trying hard and is just in it for the bag now. Brandon Aiyuk held out because he wanted more money in training camp, proving to his teammates that to him it's more about the money and not about playing football at the highest possible level. The only way for you to be prepared for an NFL season is to play NFL football and have NFL actual practices. You can do a whole lot of stuff at your house, at a private gym, but you're not going to be properly prepared for an NFL season unless you are practicing with your guys. That's why so many wide receivers who are injured or who hold out and have these contract disputes in the offseason, they come into the season sluggish, or a lot of the times they get hurt. Like we're watching Terry McLaurin right now do the same thing with the Washington Commanders. He is dealing with lower body injuries, soft tissue injuries, because he wasn't properly ramped up in the offseason. Now, Brandon Aiyuk, I expect him to come back and be a very good wide receiver. Is he going to be a first-team All-Pro wide receiver? Probably not. But the reason why the New York Jets should not be picking up Brandon Aiyuk is because he is not going to play hard on the New York Jets. Brandon Aiyuk is right now, like, a team has to be in salvage mode when they pick him up. They have to pick him up and understand that this is a player with, I don't want to say like too many off the field issues, but he's a guy who's a little, at least a little bit of a character, and he's not going to be totally bought in with the team. We are not an organization that is strong enough to take in a player like that and revive his career. Unfortunately, that's going to be a job for a better organization. And when you are a better organization, that's one of the things that you can take advantage of, is you can bring in guys who are reclamation projects, bring in guys who have off the field issues, and you can get them back to playing to their former selves or reaching a new level that they've never been able to tap into at the professional level. Unfortunately, right now, it's possible that the Jets can move themselves into a position where we do become an organization who is able to take on these reclamation projects. But right now, we're just not in the right position to pick up a Brandon Aiyuk. If we did pick him up, he would probably just be here for the money, and he would not work as hard as he needs to get back. If he's picked up by a historically more, better ran franchise, like let's say the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Green Bay Packers, they are going to hold him to a higher standard, because we know, maybe it's different under Aaron Glenn, and it already looks like it is different under Aaron Glenn. But historically, the Jets are not a franchise that holds their players to a very high standard. And that's one of the reasons why the standard is so low. And it comes all the way right down from the top. I know everyone who has ever left a comment talking about how the Woody Johnson, the owner, is the number one problem for the New York Jets. Obviously, yes, everyone knows Woody Johnson is the number one problem, but I can't make a video on only Woody Johnson every single time. Like, when Woody Johnson either changes his ways or sells the team, we got to be ready to actually turn into a better organization. And I wish we were in a position where we could pick up Brandon Aiyuk, because I'm sure if he lands in the right situation with the right organization who is willing to have patience with him and willing to work through the problems that he has off the field, and gets him coming into training camp on time, has him going into team meetings, even if he's not going to be playing that week, and doesn't have him talking about contracts and he's talking about real football instead. I mean, I wish we were a franchise that can handle that. We're not. So it is not the right move. As badly as we need a wide receiver, and as good as Brandon Aiyuk can be when he gets back to the NFL and gets back fully healthy, he is not the right guy for the New York Jets. I wish I could say something different, but the New York Jets have to figure out a way to, one, change the culture before we bring in more players. Drafting great rookies like Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald is awesome, but you can't put years and years and decades of losing on the shoulders of rookies, and you can't put the task of changing the culture for an entire franchise and its history and its fans on the shoulders of rookies. That's not fair. It has to come from a higher power. It has to come from Woody Johnson himself, first of all, and it's got to come from a head coach. I do think Aaron Glenn is a coach who can be that guy who changes the culture. He is slowly changing some things. We're going to see if it's going to end up being fast enough, but it does feel like his hot seat has calmed down a lot from where it was when we were 0-7. Now that we are 2-8, it's not that much better, but it does feel like Aaron Glenn's future is in a significantly better spot. Although, according to Woody Johnson, he was never in any danger of being fired, which is correct. You shouldn't be considering firing your head coach midway through the first season unless it's really, really obviously bad, like it was with the Carolina Panthers a couple years ago when they fired Frank Reich halfway through the season. But in that situation, if you watch that film like I did, 2 seconds into every single play, every wide receiver was standing still looking at Bryce Young, and it was really bad. I promise you, as bad as you thought those first 7 weeks are, it can be worse. Aaron Glenn has at least deserved to finish out the season, and we're going to see what he does changing the culture-wise. But as interesting as Brandon Aiyuk is, he is not the right pickup for the New York Jets. Hopefully, maybe we find a guy in the draft, maybe we find a guy out of free agency, but I promise you, we're going to have at least one more solid wide receiver on this depth chart come the start of the 2026 season. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around the whole way, thank you for watching the video. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Jets.